Hi guys, so after the madness of the last weeks, trying to get the latest songs over the line, so much work, dealing with various disasters, I've suddenly found myself on the other side of this period of madness. And I just wanted to check in on where one is with one's project, because over the last year, let me put it like this. I started the year feeling that I was at a point of reinvention, that there was something that needed to happen, and particularly with my musical life, I realized I was in a dogfight, and anything that I was going to do, I needed to reappraise. And there's a time in your life where there's nothing to do but to recommit if you're going to have any chance whatsoever of going forward with whatever endeavor it is, because no matter how long you've been doing something, you're always in conversation with life, and sometimes it's a really, really difficult conversation where you have to look at yourself so deeply and you have to say, right, what's left inside you? And if you're having that difficult conversation with life, then what is it that you can do or you could do in order to go forward with that project? Because we all know this, projects are hard, creative life is hard, building business is hard, and you hit stumbling blocks and you hit walls, and at that point of the obstacle or the wall or the deadlock or the one-way street, the barricade, we have to ask ourselves, is it right that we continue? Is there a time to give up? So this year has been really about kind of going through this very, very difficult conversation with myself to get to this point. And after 6 months, I thought it would be really worthwhile to take a moment just to sort of level with you and say how I'm feeling and where I'm at with it. And the reason I'm doing this is because, well, I suspect that there are other people out there who are going through this sort of eye of the needle, if you like, trying to pursue a project, going through that self-questioning, going through that doubt. So where am I at with this? Well, the year started going into my office space in Mahala, and it was a very difficult time. It was a very lonely time. And the hardest thing about it was just discovering that despite the fact that I knew that I wanted to go on, I'd lost a sense of belief in myself in relation to music. And that was so hard to bear, because it's all very well having the sort of willpower and the hope that you can go on and feeling that you can find new strength, but you need the belief within things in order to be able to go on. So then the question becomes, if you don't have the belief, how do you go on? And that is what the eye of the needle is, trying to get the camel through the eye of the needle. It's like, how do you go on in those times when you don't have belief? And for me, I had to look so far within myself, beneath my sense of whatever talent that I had, beneath the sense that there was anything out there for me on the outside, beneath the point where you believe that you're once again going to make a living from that you're doing, and quite the opposite, actually feeling, okay, if there is little chance and the odds are so not in your favor with continuing with that thing that you love, then why are you doing it? So the question at that point becomes, what is your why? And that is an abstraction in itself, but that's really a process, because you're digging in so far beyond yourself, and it's not a conscientious search for a why. It's going into the why of your being, of why you do anything at all. And it brought me into a sort of, at times, deeply insecure and sometimes painful place, and certainly at times a lonely place. And this is something that I've always struggled with in my creative life, is just the sheer amount of aloneness that you go through. I always wanted to be in bands, never worked out, became a solo artist. That was what the fates called of me, and I'm glad for that, because I've found things myself that I never would have found before. But within that space and within that time, at the point of potential giving up, when you have the deepest answers, the deepest questions to answer, you have to find new answers. And this is the paradox. Well, it's not a paradox, it's just a reality, is that you have to go somewhere that you've never been before. And it's that idea that in order to find something new in yourself or something new in your life, you're going to have to go into a place you've never gone before. And it's profoundly uncomfortable because you're not necessarily going to like what you find there. And if you look at the videos over the last months on YouTube, at times it's been fun, but at times I've been quite level in sharing the fact that it's been very difficult, that I've struggled. And that sometimes I've looked back at the footage, I've been like, man, are you depressed? You know, do I seem depressed? More to the point, am I depressed? And it wasn't depression I was going through, even if I was being sort of quite transparent about when there were times of lows. I was just going through this process of answering the question that was being asked of me. And it's like, within the answering of that question, you are learning everything about yourself and who you are. One of the things I had to learn, that I have been learning with regard to music, is that it has to become beyond any sense of expectation. It has to be beyond anything that I want from the world. And that the paradox of that means that you have to almost give up on the expectation even of any kickback or outcome or even success. It can't be for those reasons when you're really going into that dark room, into that basement of your being. And I sort of liken it like this, that when we go into our sort of deepest self or the deepest place where we are, there's a basement, and it's often likened to hell. And the thing is about hell is that you always think about sort of climbing out of hell. How do I get out of hell? But the thing that I sort of discovered in this time, and I've been through this in different ways in my life, is that when you're in that spot, it's like sometimes it's not about trying to get out. It's trying to go deeper and like taking that pickaxe and over and over and over, smashing the ground, because like beneath that space there is a whole other universe. It's like whatever you would call the river of life. That is what you're trying to get into. And it's like, that's how it feels when you're in the pursuit of a melody or something that for a song, it's like you're going so deep into the current of life, of whatever life is. And it's such a continual act of faith, because song just doesn't drop sort of out of the blue. Yes, you can do the craftsmanship part, and that has been very much a part of this year, about trying to relearn techniques, about trying to improve my playing again, because yes, when you go through the craft, stuff drops out and it gives you sort of like the breadcrumbs, hints, melodies, ideas, vibes. But there's a deeper place altogether that you're trying to get to, which is into that current of life, the river of life, that which is available to all of us when you have that question, and with your whole being you seek to answer it. And that is the majesty, is that when you sort of get broken down into the chorus most elements of your being, you start discovering stuff that you never had any idea that might be inside you. And at this point, guys, I'm 6 months in to this new project, 6 months in since I went into my new space in Mahala and betted my life once again on Berlin, on my musical life, on my creative life, my future, on this thing that you're told not to go after, that which you're passionate about. And there's so much nowadays, like, don't go after your passionate, be much more sort of prudent about how you construct your life. And I don't know if I go with that. I think sometimes I think if you're really going to keep going through the absolute, like, the dark forest that you need to go through in order to get to those deeper places in your being and truly reach your potential, you have to go after what sparks you. So I don't know, I think there's a lot of misinformation about the sort of nature of dream, which I'll talk about in the future. But for now, practically what's happened, I'm 6 months into this project, and I've recorded 10 songs, and I do not know how it's happened. Each one of these songs has been written this year. Each one has been a struggle unlike I've never had before creatively. But I know that these songs are my best songs, and it feels so wild and so like it's something that I cannot conceive or understand. It's like sometimes you have this sense that you're accessing this sense of mystery beyond yourself, which you can't make sense of, you can't conceive of it. And what has been so wonderful is, like, all this time later, to find these 10 songs, to suddenly they're recording. It's like, okay, it's like I've been given something back. I've been given something to go forward with, and that's my map. It's like the songs and the album are the maps going forward. But the reason I say about it isn't as a victory salute, because I'm still in this process. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, don't know how I'm going to release them yet. I've all just been all in on the creative part and the process part and the journey part and the self-discovery part. But the point I make is this is the offering I want to share, is that almost every part of this journey along the way, I've been insecure, I've been in doubt, I've been questioning myself, I've been uncertain, and it's never really felt easy. But I feel so rewarded at the other end of this process. And I kind of think this creative cycle is a year, and then next year will be about releasing. I think that's my loose idea. The point is that whatever you're working on, the development and the progress happens invisibly. And so often it's just this act of showing up consistently. I know that consistency's become almost like a cliche, but it's this commitment to something other than yourself, that's within yourself. And yes, you're doing it for your life and your expression, your own growth, but it's more that to build, like the reward that you get at the end of it comes out of the courage to show faith when nothing is happening over and over and over. It's creative life, things come out of nothing. And so often the things that come out feel like they are nothing themselves. Sometimes you just feel like you're wasting your time. And so I would just say that if you're at the point, it's midway through the year, take a breath, recharge your energy, because I think it's just at this point sometimes during the year that we're a little bit, our energy's down, we're kind of not sure what we've done. It's a moment to reassess and to think about things anew. But it's just then to take a deep breath once you're ready to go again and recommit to the invisible, recommit to the path, to the showing up, and trusting that day after day after day, when you commit to that thing that means most to you, even if you're questioning it and you have no idea sometimes why or what or how you're doing it, you just keep on going in there, because out of that mystery, out of that time invested, you start knitting something upon the quilt, and you step back from it, and you don't know it at the time, but a much greater tapestry is being weaved, and that is the tapestry of your life. So just some reflections, because I think that I feel so humbled that I've got these songs, and so excited to share with you. And I'm so thankful for everyone who's checked in along the way and supported me as I go through this sort of arduous and laborious process of rebirth in this miniature public. And I'm sending you love. Please keep in there, keep showing up, keep believing in those invisible things. And even when it's hard or dark or low, remember that might just be the point, or rather it will be the point when and where the breakthrough happens. Keep in there, guys.